Oh, although it's logistically impossible considering you're all in different areas, there's of course the rumor of the animated series of Power Rangers. If such a thing it did exist, would you want to do some of your older characters again, or would you want to do, obviously, you'd probably want to do Mesogog again, but would any of you guys want any particular characters you want to do again, or just want to do new monsters and villains? And
I want to do Mesogog. I just want a job.
There's the honest answer as an actor or somebody who wants to pay their bills and make sure that retirement's taken care of. Is there a paycheck? Yeah, I want to work, of course. But personally, as I've said, the only two characters that really stick out for me from doing Power Rangers were Diabolico and Gluto, and that was just from the sheer repetition. But I can tell you, my experiences from doing the show, I had a great time. I worked with great people, so my memories of doing it are really all good and warm, and I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. And if they said, we've written Diabolico in, do you think you can remember how to play it? Yes, no doubt.
They're casting.
Yeah, it's probably going to go
I think they're casting.
Oh, and of course, I remember there was a PlayStation video game. You were talking about video games, or the Diabolico talked in. Did you do the voice for him in there?
As a matter of fact, they did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, it wasn't like Hawkman.
So, the casting we're doing in Canada,
Wait,
you
Canada,
can actually
casting.
do it. Because we can't work in Canada, but you can.
I could work in Canada.
I think so. Aren't you New Zealand Alliance?
I'm a New Zealand permanent resident.
Yeah, I think that opens it up for
I
you.
think it does.
Is that?
It's go Canada. British Commonwealth country.
Really? Well, that explains a lot of it, all the casting now.
No, he can't because he's not with that group, and if you're not with that group,
Well,
you're not getting in.
That's
So it's going to be the guys that have done,
Voice acting clicks?
Huh?
Voice acting clicks?
Well,
There are. It's a very cliquish.
Yeah.
It
Especially
is,
in Canada, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to certainly say anything bad about it because realistically, that's where I got my jobs from Spawn. Is once you start to get to know a certain group of people, you call on them because goodness knows you just don't have the time to go through 10,000 people on every project. So you can't blame them. The problem is when you don't so much, you take the audition process out of it and you just kind of assign parts. And then it becomes, like, I don't know, sort of like a right rather than a privilege, And
I think I only auditioned for maybe 1 or 2 out of every 10 parts I get. The rest they just get a phone call. So it is that cliquish in that respect.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, but realistically, I mean, on a much different Hollywood level, I mean, Steven Spielberg, when was the last time he used another cinematographer other than Janusz Kaminski?
Right.
And the fact of it is, it's because they speak in the same language and he knows that he can bring the goods. So, and sometimes that's what it is, I got time, I got a budget, and I gotta know that I'm gonna get it done. And I know that Tony Oliver's the man that's gonna deliver. Whether it's as an actor, whether it's as a writer, or a director, or as an actor. And I just don't have the time to go looking to fill some of those things, So, I mean, I can't complain too much about the cliquishness. But feel free to, like I said, write letters.
The click thing is really frustrating when you first started because you get a job and then I got my first voice job. It was this thing called Secrets in the Fire Shop, and I landed the lead, which really surprised me. I lied through my teeth and told them I had experience so that I could do it. And I actually went in hours earlier and watched somebody else do the job so that I wouldn't completely make a fool out of myself. And then I didn't work again for a year and a half until I got my next one. So it's kind of like until you build a network and then you kind of start working regularly, but it took a long time.
Okay.
And once you're in, the click thing works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually, unless of course you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
I had that one incident, but
Or in the tongue. That would be very bad.
too bad too.
Is it in New Zealand? Is it the same in terms of there's working clicks and things like that?
Oh,
or is it a little
absolutely.
broader?
If anything, they're more they're, it's such a small place. And Kelson and I were actually talking about this the other day, that there's only really 2 theater companies, for example, and you want to work with them, you get in on it. Kelson and I would only be here now because we're part of a clique that was recognized by the casting director. So it's so very specific, and absolutely, it's such a small town. And it's no different than here, they're just smaller cliques and fewer of them. But there's no doubt that it's the exact same process, and it's very difficult to break into them, and then once you do, you get all the work from it, so you can't really lament that. That's how we got here. We were already in the clique. So,
There's also talent pool issues there, where there's less people in New Zealand than there are in Los Angeles.
There's so many fewer people. We have some very good actors, but they're just a lot fewer, and it's actually a very interesting place to work like that. You have to do everything in New Zealand. If you want to work as an actor, there are very few of us like here who make a living as an actor over there, but you need to do TV commercials, you need to do theater, helps if you can sing, you can do drama, TV, movies, all that. So you can't, there's no specialization in New Zealand at all. The only way you can make a living is to do absolutely everything.
Let me just say something as a fan, as somebody who wrote letters in the 70s and is proud of the fact that I helped them decide to make a Star Trek movie. If they make an animated series and you don't like it,
Right.
don't get on the internet and complain on a board, right? Take a pen, take a piece of paper, write a letter. I think actually Power Ranger fans have been very influential over the fact that you kept the series around for 15 years, and it's not only not a pale imitation of itself, in many senses, it's improved, it's better. That's one of the reasons why Power Rangers is this thing where it's almost like a volcano, because you keep building on the generations from before and bringing in new fans, and you're not necessarily losing a lot of fans from before. So that's a very special thing. Don't let it get out of control. I've been involved with some other fan favorite situations where the fans sit in the lobby and they shall we just say, they bitch and moan, and yet they still dole out the money, and they still buy the product. And that's all the company in charge really sees. You guys have done an amazing thing by 15 years down the road, getting this together and getting fans from all over the world. So if this cartoon does happen, make sure they keep it up to the standards that you want it to be, and that's not going to happen by getting on the computer on a message board. So, one fan to another.